Hi everyone, I am back with a review of the show that I had said I would come with, but unfortunately I got delayed. But here are my final thoughts about the show A Million Little Things. And it's not going to be one of those reviews where I'm going to be all happy about it. It's actually a very interesting show where it has a lot of ups and downs, at least for me personally. That's how I felt with the show. So let's get started. There are 5 seasons. It just ended last week, and as you saw my finale review, if you've seen it, I was not impressed. I felt like the writers were trying too hard to do a full circle of ending the show with another friend dying, who actually made a huge impact on the show. So I had heard about the show because I had watched the show Grimm, starring David Quintoli, who I fell in love with. You have to watch that show, by the way. Amazing show, really, really good. And I had known that he had done this new show, A Million Little Things. So I started to watch it, and it begins with a friend committing suicide and his journey of the journey of these friends who are very close to each other, very tight knit, and what happens to them and how they are dealing with life and how they cope with the suicide, find different secrets, and how the family moves forward. So that's the basic crux of the show, really. At least the first season. And the first season was amazing of the show. Like, I really enjoyed it. I loved finding out the secrets, how the family is coping, how we find out the wife was cheating, how kids cope with that, how David Quintoli's character is really amazing, um, being a flawed character because his character in Grimm was very kind of like a heroic almost character. He was really good, didn't do any bad things most of the time. So in this one, it was a very flawed character. So I understand why he took this role. It was very different from his Grimm show. So, and he was the reason I was watching it. But the breakout character for me was the friend Javier Fernandez, the Latino friend who we don't even know Latino until much later in the series, and because the way his character was handled, he's cancer survivor, breast cancer survivor, and how he handles a situation, how he steps up for his friends, how they all help each other out. Amazing, amazing series to start with. Season 2 is still pretty good. It keeps going with those characters, how they are evolving and moving forward in their lives and how they meet different people, like how Javier meets his girlfriend, who also is a cancer survivor, and their chemistry was sparkling, by the way, played by Alison Miller. Amazing, amazing chemistry there. And then we find out different things, how the relationships fall apart, blah, blah, blah. I did find season 3 was very, very boring. I struggled to complete it. They were dealing with a very important subject of sexual harassment, uh, from a teacher to a student. And for some reason, the way the main story was presented or delivered, I don't know how to put it, it was very annoying and very frustrating. I could not finish the show. Like, when I was watching season 3, I was like, oh my god, I could just, like, I literally didn't want to watch it anymore. I struggled and struggled and struggled. And then I finally got through. It took me a while to get through season 3, by the way. It was so boring because it picks up again in season 4. And then we find out different things about these characters, how they've grown, uh, how they're moving forward with their lives, all of them, how they're meeting different people. Turns out David Quindoli's character, his ex-wife now, because they get divorced eventually, is a lesbian, and how she meets a new partner, and how they're happy, and now he meets a new person, and how he gets paralyzed and he's in a wheelchair. So many things are happening within the show, a million little things. The one thing that I do want to bring up is the way one character, played by Christina Moses, and her husband, they're the African American characters of the show, and they are like they want to have family, and at first they didn't, and then we find out that they do want to have a family and their struggles with that. Very, very relatable things. But I have to say one thing: the way these some of these characters made some of these decisions, it was frustrating as hell. It felt like you're making these mistakes, like they're almost like acting childish sometimes. Those were my frustrations of the show. I really felt sometimes that they were, making some very stupid decisions, and that's where season three really felt very tough to get through. And then season four comes, and they're meeting these people, as I said, and then season five comes, and then again they're all happy and getting on with their lives, and different things are happening with their lives. Um, you know, so really, really picks up the show really good. But then they throw a bombshell in the middle of the show in season five, where Javier's cancer is back, and now all of a sudden we find out that he's not gonna make it, and then the story just focuses on that and how the friends are now getting together and trying to cope with that, which is fine. But I just felt like putting Javier back into cancer and killing him off the show was a huge mistake because he was the main character actually I was rooting for. I watched the show, started watching the show because of David Quintoli and his character, because I loved him in Grimm. And then I fell in love with this new character, and now you're killing him off just because now he's the sole step up person, or acting like a fatherly figure to the kids and all that in the show. And now all of a sudden he's dying because his cancer's back and now he can't survive it. It felt forced to me, and I don't know if that's how you felt or not. I'm really curious to see what you think about it. And so the show ends with him dying and his kids growing up, and now how kids are moving on and making new friends and maintaining those friendships with those adult characters, and now how their kids are now also friends and how they move on with the show. Um, yeah, sorry, it's a long review, but I had to break it down a little bit. I didn't want to get into too many details, and I missed a lot, skipped a lot. So actually watch the show because it is worth watching, despite some of the flaws. So I hated the finale. Won't talk much about it. And what did you think about it? Did you like the show? Did you agree with the finale? Did you agree with some of the points that I brought up? Those were the pinch points for me, to be honest. So please like, share, and subscribe my channel, and I hope you enjoyed this review, and thank you so much for watching.